So the EXPAND trial, which was a secondary progressive clinical trial, was really asking the question, if you had patients who had secondary progressive disease, would a medication like siponimod make a difference? And what we found in the trial is that it hit on the endpoints of slowing the rate of disability progression. But the question was, is the secondary progressive population more active? And more active could be have had relapses in the last 2 years or MRI activity, et cetera. And if that is, the population that we're going to study, and you ask the question, does disease duration play into that? They broke it out into if they had disease duration less than 16 years or more than 16 years. And they were able to show that the population that were active with disease duration less than 16 years had a more robust effect on slowing the rate of disability progression, both in the 3 and 6 month time points, somewhere in the range of 35 to 40%, compared with the people who had a longer disease duration, greater than 16 years, which also was quite impressive, but maybe not as long, not as robust, maybe in the 25 to 30% range in slowing the disability progression. So to me, the way I view that is, in your population of patients who are earlier in the course of secondary progressive disease, you're going to have a more robust effect than waiting for them later in the disease. So I think it's important to identify those patients as early as possible and get them on treatment as early as possible. I think for us in the clinical practice of MS, it's really important for us to be able to identify which patients are in that category of progression, because right now it's really difficult for us to find a defined point to say you are now in secondary progressive disease. It's very slow and indolent, and I think that we have to start asking these questions, something we were not able to do previously, in part because we didn't really have any treatments that would be able to address the secondary progressive population, but now we do. And we have data now, even from a study like this, that shows the earlier you identify these people, you may have a greater effect. So this becomes very practical to us about being able to figure out how to identify them, ask the questions about progression in these early secondary progressives.